I'm really sorry I can't be with you tonight, but I'm delighted to have the opportunity to address the Black Britain Decides General Election Rally. It's a fantastic event, the kind I'm not sure we've ever seen before, certainly not so far in this election. An election which is shaping up to be more exciting than perhaps anyone could have imagined. I mean, a few weeks ago, no one could have predicted we'd be where we are now, and no one knows where we'll be in another week. But what we do know is this: all bets are now off. And that's hugely exciting, because when people begin to believe that things can be different, anything is possible. I want this election to mark the beginning of real change in Britain. I don't want to live in a society where a child's life fortunes are still determined by the circumstances of their birth, where if you're from an ethnic minority, you're still more likely to be out of work, more likely to be on low pay, more likely to be hassled by the police when you haven't done anything wrong. Now, we've made some progress, big progress, on race equality in this country. That's true. But we have not yet gone far enough. And there is still work to do, including in my party, the Liberal Democrats. I'm determined the Liberal Democrats will build a Britain in which you decide your own fate, in which everyone is free, no matter their colour, creed, sexuality or gender, to live out their dreams. And this is how we'll bring about that change. 1. Liberal Democrats will make sure no child is left behind at school, because education is the greatest liberator. Education is the engine of a fair society, of opportunity for all. By making cuts elsewhere in government, Vince Cable and I have identified an extra £2.5 billion for our schools, so they can cut class sizes and provide more one-to-one tuition, giving every child the best start, and closing the gap between poorer children and their wealthier classmates that currently blights our classrooms. 2. We'll crack down on discrimination in the workplace. It is a scandal that right now, if you have an ethnic minority name, you have to apply for twice as many jobs before you're hired. But we seem to be losing our zeal in tackling that prejudice when we should be coming up with new ideas to root it out. Small changes that can make a really big difference, like name-blind application forms where names and personal details are hidden so every candidate gets a fair shot at an interview. Or pay audits for companies so that when employers are paying BME employees or female employees less than is fair, we catch them out and we make it stop. Now, these changes are blindingly obvious to most people, but they don't happen yet. Under the Liberal Democrats, they will. 3. We'll use the law to uphold people's rights, not to put entire communities under suspicion. The systematic abuse of counter-terrorism measures must now end. It's not right that 3/4 of people on the DNA database are young black men, a database that holds the records of 1 million innocent people. It's not right that black men should be 6 times more likely to be stopped and searched than white men. And it's not right for politicians to talk tough on crime and score points on immigration with no regard to the divisions they cause. So let's change it. Let's make stop and search intelligence-led. Let's get innocent people off the DNA database. Let's repeal control orders and 28-day detention. And let's admit the PREVENT programme isn't really working, and let's look at it again. And let's stick up for those laws, equality legislation, the Human Rights Act, that do protect people equally and that do defend hard-won British freedoms. Since I became leader of the Liberal Democrats just over 2 years ago, I've been taking action to improve diversity within the party. One of our biggest problems, and I'm totally open about this, is that we're still not as diverse as we should be. We're working around the clock to make sure that on May the 7th, we wake up to our BME candidates having been elected to Parliament. But I know that whatever happens, we will still have further to go. We've been making progress. We now have a dedicated diversity unit aimed at targeting support at candidates from BME communities. We've set up the New Generation Initiative, which is proving hugely successful in helping BME activists, councillors and parliamentary candidates come forward and pursue their political ambitions. And we've learnt that what makes a difference for us is giving people the encouragement and the support to put themselves forward in the first place. And I'm absolutely determined that we now build further on that. And trust me, once the Liberal Democrats have reformed Parliament, once we've got rid of the big money, introduced fair votes, given people the right to sack corrupt MPs, we'll finally be able to say goodbye to the old white boys club that it still is. So, new politics, rights enshrined and protected in the law, an end to discrimination at work, and fairness in our schools. It's clear in this election that more and more people are now thinking maybe it's time to do things differently. And that means we now have a chance to build momentum for the Britain that each of us dreams of. Now, those moments don't come along very often. So don't let anyone tell you it can't be different this time. It can. Thank you.